Bored but bossy? Desperate for power and upset nobody will listen to you? Keen to patronize? Try a career in human resources. Your job is to fire people or make them feel bad for telling funny jokes. Take the joy and pleasure out of the workplace. Work is called work for a reason. It shouldn't be fun. You'll have more power than management. Make people fill out long questionnaires about their feelings so you can sell the data or blackmail them at a later point. Get paid to snoop on employee email. Train for 3 evenings and you'll be qualified to begin an exciting career as a human resources professional. Contact Ovine Human Resources Academy today.
.909 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Mac, how was your Trans Day of Visibility? Did you have a good one? Ken, did you guys have a cookout for Trans Day of Visibility? Everybody have a good one?
I was on the road all day.
Oh, man.
Mine was a transportation day.
All right. We put the trans in transportation yesterday. I mean, the news over the weekend was appalling to say the least, as Christians everywhere celebrated the resurrection of Jesus. We're basically slapped in the face by the Biden administration. And it started when Joe Biden decided that they weren't going to be allowing any religious designs on Easter eggs at the White House Easter egg hunt. Nothing. No religious decorations, designs, any of that. Okay. And then outrage continued as Biden proclaimed Easter Sunday as the Trans Day of Visibility. Now, to be fair, this is not the first Trans Day of Visibility. These have been happening since 2009. Who was in office in 2009? All right. Yeah. Got it. But President Biden sparked outrage. He declared Easter Sunday will be the official Transgender Day of Visibility. The White House doubled up on backlash, banning religious imagery and submissions from children of military families taking part in the traditional Easter egg roll event, as critics branded the moves as an attack on Christianity. I find it to be an attack on Christianity. I do. In fact, it was one of the only things that many of the people I saw at church were talking about. People were upset. Understandably so. It seems like Christianity in this country is under attack. Christianity across the world is under attack. In fact, Christians are the most persecuted group of people in the world. But yesterday was really a first in America for this religion being under attack. And we did see it under attack. Make no mistake. We saw people step up, and we saw people push back. Vivek Ramaswamy, Mike Johnson, some of them stepped up. They made their voices heard, their displeasure known. But as Christians, how long are we going to take this? You know, they wouldn't get away with this with any other religion in this country. Could you imagine the outrage if on the first day of Ramadan they had announced it would be Transgender Day of Visibility? It would have never flown. And we saw member after member of the Biden administration stepping up to say how this is a good thing. We should be fine with this. And I'm not fine with it. So Biden declares Easter Sunday's Transgender Day of Visibility. Biden is and I'm using air quotes, he's a Catholic. He's one of the only Catholics I know that supports abortion and also supports overshadowing Easter. But this is where we're at. It shouldn't be shocking. Biden also stressed that transgender Americans are part of the fabric of our nation. Okay. He says, but extremists are proposing hundreds of hateful laws that target and terrify transgender kids and their families. silencing teachers, banning books, and even threatening parents, doctors, and nurses with prison for helping parents get care for their children, he said in a press release. I'm sorry. These irreversible medical procedures are not safe for kids. In fact, they've banned them in a lot of countries in Europe already. You know, they're always a couple steps ahead as far as the health stuff. You can look at what food's allowed over there and what food's allowed over here in America. But this is a terrible thing that's happening in America. What is being done to children is terrible. And it's just another affirmation that, yes, they are 100% targeting your kids. In fact, the Education Secretary, Miguel Cardona, he put out a video celebrating the Transgender Day of Visibility because he says, you know, we need safe spaces for trans kids.
At the Department of Education, we know that all students do their best when they're seen and they're supported. To the many transgender students across the country listening on this Trans Day of Visibility, we in the Biden-Harris administration want you to know that we see you, we support you, and we celebrate you. We also know it's not an easy time to be you. Walking into a classroom should be an act of hope, not an act of bravery. That every day you choose to show up as your true self, you make this world a more brave, more honest, and more free place. In your gift for seeing things as they could be, I see the promise of America. Today, we at the Department of Education want you to know that your school, your community, and your country are better because you're a part of it. You don't just belong here, we need you here. From all of us here at the Department of Education, happy Trans Day of Visibility.
Did the Department of Education put out a video saying Happy Easter to all the Christian kids? No, of course not. But Miguel Cardona is absolutely targeting children. The trans ideology is absolutely targeting children. And I want Christians to look around and realize that this is the new Democratic Party, where you are beneath them. And did you know that 30% of Christians are not registered to vote? I hope every Christian listening to me understands that, and they go and they get registered to vote this November, that they talk to people at their churches and get them registered to vote this November, because we need to show up in large numbers, because we've been seeing this attack on Christianity for so long. You know, there's a Christmas alternative. It's called Kwanzaa. There's an Easter alternative now. It's Trans Day of Visibility. We see America under attack. There's a July 4th alternative, Juneteenth. We see the national anthem under attack. We have a black national anthem now. We're seeing what we are familiar with, the world we grew up in, torn down by the radical left. And I, for one, have had enough. I've had enough. And you know, you see the escalation against Christians happening in this country. In Mount Juliet, you had a trailer full of Bibles lit on fire in front of the Global Vision Church. Is Joe Biden going to make a statement about that? Is the DOJ going to come out against that? Of course not. But had that been a trailer full of Korans, yes, they would have made a statement about that. If it was a trailer full of pornographic books that they're putting in schools for your kids, yes, there would have been a statement about that. But the silence when it comes to the attack on Christians in this country is deafening. Deafening. But it's not surprising. It's not surprising at all. You know, Trump came out and he demanded an apology for Joe Biden declaring Easter Sunday the Trans Day of Visibility. Says it demands an apology to Christians. He says it's appalling and insulting that Joe Biden's White House prohibited children from submitting religious egg designs for their Easter art event and declared Easter Sunday as Trans Day of Visibility. Yes, it is appalling. 100%. But it should come as no surprise. It's amazing to me. You hear Miguel Cardona, the education secretary, celebrating the Trans Day of Visibility, and how different it is from Trump's Easter message.
We remember the suffering and death of God's only Son and his glorious resurrection on the third day. On Easter Sunday, we proclaim with joy, Christ is risen.
That's what Easter Sunday should be about. And the radical left overshadowed it. In New York, Kathy Hochul, their esteemed governor, she went trans everything. She lit up all the landmarks in New York with the trans flag colors on Easter Sunday. She put out a video. Oh, we're celebrating Trans Day of Visibility. Yep. Made all the landmarks pink, white, and light blue, like the trans flag. Everything. The One World Trade Center, the SUNY building, the State Education building, the Empire State Plaza, Niagara Falls, more. There's everything in New York. In her proclamation, the governor of New York said the state would stand up for the rights, visibility, and safety of New Yorkers and strengthen measures to protect the transgender, non-conforming, and non-binary community. It's amazing because she didn't have anything to say when a church caught fire in Brooklyn on Easter Sunday. 5 people were hurt. 5-alarm fire erupts at a New York City church during Easter service. They don't know how the fire started. Is there going to be a federal investigation? Was this arson? I have to think with the amount of escalation in the war against Christians in this country that maybe it was. The priest at that church, Father Romulo Marin, said he had no idea how the fire started, but said it spread quickly. The church started filling with smoke, and the 200 or so parishioners inside exited safely and calmly. He also told New York Eyewitness News he tried to attack the flames he could see coming from a back room with a fire extinguisher, but it was futile. And he felt something hot fall in his hand and burn it, and something fell on his head, and he got out of there. And the second floor of the church collapsed after a few firefighters were already inside. It's a scary scene. Is there going to be an investigation? Is there? There should be. Are you going to hear about this anywhere on the news? Of course not. Of course not. Are you going to hear about the climate protesters interrupting New York's St. Patrick's Cathedral Easter Mass? Saying silence equals death and chanting free Palestine? No, you won't hear about that because the people they were interrupting were Christians. And you see, in this new global order, we're allowed to deal with that, right? We have to deal with that. Any other group, there would be outcry from the radical left. It's 9:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I want to get your thoughts, your reaction, your comments on this. Did you have a good Transgender Day of Visibility? 615-737-9986. That's 615-737-9986. It's 9:22 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at USS, United Structural Systems. Now, do I still count as new to WTN? I'm newer. Nothing,
Yeah, the shine hasn't worn off yet.
Yeah, the shine hasn't worn off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't. But I'm not new to USS, United Structural Systems. Like you, I've heard their commercials on Super Talk for years. But when I had the chance to sit down and meet those guys at USS a few months back, I got to tell you, they're the same people you hear about from all of us here on WTN. Good guys, honest, hardworking, proud of the work they do. And we got rain coming in, and after the rain, it's going to be a great opportunity for you to check your crawl space. Because if you're noticing standing water in your crawl space, wet basement walls, cracks in your basement floors, that's your house trying to tell you something. And that could be that you need to waterproof your basement or crawl space. So give the guys at USS a call to come check it out. They'll come through, create a custom plan for your home. They won't leave until the work is done and you are happy and satisfied with the work they did. Plus, when they leave, they'll leave a lifetime warranty. And the warranty stays with your house. So even if you move, the warranty stays. Give USS a call to check this out. They're your waterproofing experts, 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855. With 25,000 satisfied customers, I'm confident you'll be 25,001. Call USS today, 615-488-7855, or online at USSTN.com.
The pharmaceutical industry is at it again. They don't want you to vote yes on Proposition 208 and legalize medical cocaine. For millions of Americans, it's the medicine that helps them get through the day. A God-given plant strained through gasoline in the jungle by a man with missing teeth. Vote yes on Proposition 208 and legalize medical cocaine.
You want to up your running game? Run like a caveman. Finally, shoes are getting back to nature. Toe shoes. You were born barefoot, your ancestors ran barefoot. And now, toe shoes allow you to run barefoot but with shoes that look like feet. Slightly deformed, web-toed, brightly colored feet. Just like our ancestors that died at 25 of rickets. They're like wearing no shoes at all, as nature intended. Toe shoes. They're shoes for toes and twats.
Can't really see why, but right now, westbound 24 is really slow going from about Briley Parkway all the way up to west of Old Hickory Boulevard. So if you're trying to get to Clarksville today from Nashville, keep this in mind here for right now because that is very slow going. And Metro Police have found the suspect vehicle from yesterday's deadly Easter brunch shooting. We'll tell you about it at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is so good to have you back, man. We are blessed by your presence.
Thank you, boys. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. So on the way, I want to get to your reaction, your comments on the Transgender Day of Visibility. Does that get under your skin? Does it make your blood boil a little bit? Larry in Clarksville's hanging on. We got a couple other callers we're going to get to next. 615-737-9986. Your calls, your texts on the way. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and the threat level for severe weather in Middle Tennessee has been raised to enhanced, which is a level 3 out of 5. Got the full forecast coming up here in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, a break in the case of the Easter brunch shooting. Police say the suspect's vehicle located overnight near 26th Avenue and Jefferson Street. Still no sign of the suspect, identified by police as 46-year-old Anton Rucker, who left with a woman in a silver Mercedes SUV. Again, police finding that vehicle, but still working to determine the motive.
It may have been something as simple as one person invading another person's space.
33-year-old Alan Beachman was killed and 4 others wounded. And starting today, more than 500,000 fast food workers in California get a big pay raise. According to state law, they have to get at least $20 an hour. That's a 25% wage increase. And the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
We're Fleesa. We began as a credit card company, and thanks to customer allegiance and 29% interest fees that retain clients for life, we became a bank. But we're more than that. We're a brokerage firm, too. What's better than a bank investing your assets for our profits in the safety and security of the stock market? Hey, America's been through some tough times. We've all had to make some sacrifices in health and dignity to make ends meet. At Fleesa, we've sacrificed our integrity and spent a fortune lobbying so that regulations don't bog down the future. Fleesa, credit cards, banking, brokerage. It's time to start paying for everything.
Your boss is a thief, a bully, and a crook. He expects you to work. That's like slavery. And thanks to popular plebiscite, it's now entirely illegal in our state. Hammerstein and Faust Employment Law. We are specialists in San Andreas employment litigation. With our help, you'll never need to work again. With a well-managed lawsuit, your economic miracle can go on forever. Call us today. Live on the beach tomorrow. Remember, accidents do happen. Why not slip and fall into the good life? This is the real American dream. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps after faking a fall at work and suing everybody into poverty. We'll show you the alternatives when it comes to getting what you deserve from your work environment. Call today or visit our website, hammersteinfaust.com.
9:38 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. We were talking about the Trans Day of Visibility. Yeah, call me old school. I referred to yesterday as Easter. That's how I did it. But there were Bibles burned, a church on fire in New York, climate protesters interrupting mass in New York. Even Caitlyn Jenner, you may know him as Bruce, came out and slammed Joe Biden over the Easter comments. Seriously. Caitlyn Jenner slammed President Biden for celebrating Easter on the same day as a public transgender day of visibility. Yep. Caitlyn Jenner said, "I'm absolutely disgusted that Joe Biden has declared the most holy of holy days, a self-proclaimed devout Catholic, as Transgender Day of Visibility. The only thing you should be declaring on this day is he is risen." That's coming from possibly the most famous transgender person in the world, I would argue. Larry in Clarksville, you've been waiting patiently. Larry, welcome back to the show. What do you think about this?
Hey, Chris, thanks for taking my call. There will be a special day in hell for Biden and this administration. This is, I should be shocked, but I'm not. But this is one of the most disgusting things I believe this administration has done. I even have friends that are in certain biker, I'll say clubs, that are absolutely outraged at this.
Yeah.
And can you imagine if there had been a burning of 200 Korans? Every three-letter agency Biden has would be right here in Nashville doing every kind of investigation they could do.
You're absolutely right. They would have been flooding Mount Juliet.
Yes.
It is shocking how different the reaction would have been. Because I don't even think mainstream media is going to cover the Bibles being burned.
No, I'm sure they won't.
No, it'll be swept under the rug so quick.
Thank you for what you do, Chris.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. You feeling all right? How you been, bud?
I cheated the reaper one more time, so I'm still there.
Hey, God bless you, Larry. I'm glad to hear from you, man.
All right, brother. Bye.
All right, later. Anthony, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Anthony?
Hey, Chris. Thanks for taking my call. Once my wife and I heard about that they were recognizing Trans Day of Visibility or whatever, we kind of just shook our heads, man. It's at this point we're not surprised. It's what they do. It's clear virtue signaling. It's clear division. They just want to see this country divided more and more and more. It truly is disgusting. But I mean, my wife and I, we sat down and talked about it for all about 5 minutes, and then we come to the realization that even though that they're pushing this crap, we can't lose sight of what this holiday is truly about, and that is Jesus Christ. He is risen, and we didn't lose sight of that. We just kind of shook our heads, and it is what it is, because at the end of the day, we're not the judge and verdict, and we kind of left it at that. So that's how we handled yesterday.
Yeah, no,
Thanks for taking my call, Chris.
Hey, I appreciate you, Anthony, and I totally hear you, man. It's about keeping the focus on Jesus yesterday, and we did the exact same thing, but we do need to address this. You know what I mean? Like this is an issue. Christians are under attack. And to watch the White House virtue signal and proclaim that it's Trans Day of Visibility and not let the kids have any religious decorations on the Easter eggs at the White House, that to me is even more shocking than the Trans Day of Visibility. Again, the Trans Day of Visibility has been around on March 31st since 2009, right? But the way they proclaimed it as the big issue, the big thing of the day on Easter, I was personally insulted. The LGBTQIA2S plus, the Alphabet Mafia, the Rainbow Mafia, they have over 50 celebrations every year. In January, they get No Name Calling Week. In February, they have National Black HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. The week after Valentine's Day, they have Aromantic Spectrum Awareness Week. February 28th, they have HIV is Not a Crime Awareness Day. In March, they have Bisexual Health Awareness Month. In March, they have a National LGBT Health Awareness Week. March 1st is Zero Discrimination Day. March 10th is National Women and Girls HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. March 20th is National Native HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. Of course, we had Transgender Day of Visibility on the 31st yesterday. In April, though, we're going to ramp up holidays again. April 6th, we'll have International Asexuality Day. April 10th, National Youth HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. The third Friday of April, we'll have a day of silence. On April 18th, we're going to have National Transgender HIV Testing Day. Put that one on your calendar. That's a big one. On April 18th, we have Non-Binary Parents Day. Don't forget to grab your card for Non-Binary Parents Day on April 18th. On April 26th, we have Lesbian Visibility Day. That's also International Lesbian Visibility Week through May 2nd. Then in May, we have International Family Equality Day. May 17th, we have International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia, and Biphobia. May 19th, we have National Asian and Pacific Islander HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. It's also Agender Pride Day. May 22nd, this is a big one, Harvey Milk Day. Harvey Milk was the gay rights activist that also had a young teenage lover. May 24th, Pansexual and Panromantic Awareness and Visibility Day. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. There's like 15 of them in June, which is also LGBTQ Pride Month. July, Omnisexual Visibility Day. July 6th, Omnisexual Visibility Day. August 14th is Gay Uncles Day. It's getting absurd. Paul, you're next on Super Talk. Paul, what's going on, man? Hey, Paul. Oh, there's. I can hear me on the delay, so here comes Paul.
Okay. Hi, Chris.
Hey, what's up, Paul?
Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, man, what's going on?
Well, you're bringing up awareness of all these events and what's going on in this country. I just wanted to make you aware, if you're not aware, there was a broadcaster back in the 60s. His name was Paul Harvey.
Yep.
And he had a broadcast. In this broadcast, he was stating, if I was the devil, this is what I would do.
I've heard that.
Have you heard it?
Yes, sir.
I wish you would play that on your station so everybody else can hear it. Because it's right, spot on what's going on in this country.
No, you're absolutely right. I think everybody should go listen to that Paul Harvey, If I Was the Devil. I think he hits the nail on the head. And at the end when he goes, actually, if I were the devil, I would just let things keep going as they're going, you know?
Exactly. I mean, it all relates to everything that's going on. He was quite a prophet.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Thanks for the call, Paul. I really appreciate you, man.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Later. The Paul Harvey, If I Was the Devil thing is something different. Michelle in Hendersonville, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Michelle?
Hi, hey, Chris. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Michelle?
I texted you. I am so sick of this. I grew up in California. I have a best friend out there whose son goes to public school. He's a sophomore, and he can't figure out if he's a boy or a girl. And the subject goes away for a while, but every time my friend asks him to cut his hair, it comes up again. And he goes to public school, like I said. We also lived in Massachusetts, Andover, right next to Lowell.
Yep.
Liberal mecca of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even talk to anybody from back there anymore because they're so whacked out. And I have friends, or guess frenemies, I don't even know what they are. Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
No, you're fine. You're doing great.
They have girls that have chopped off their breasts, and now they're called a boy's name. And they're girls that my kids went to high school with. And I'm so sick of this. And everybody out here who's liberal or whatever, they need to go live under that for some time. Maybe they'll love it. So that's fine. They can all stay up there. But they really don't have an idea of what they're talking about unless they've lived under it. Sorry,
No,
I'm fired up.
I hear you, Michelle. I appreciate it. It sounds like Michelle's a member of the Red Pilled Moms Club. Are you in the Red Pilled Moms Club?
I guess, yeah.
I love it.
In fact, my whole family is.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Michelle. Thank you for the call. And I totally get where you're coming from too, because I have family and friends in Lowell, and it's in Massachusetts, and these liberal blue states, it's absolutely backwards, and it seems like those blue states, these radical leftists, are forcing it on everybody else. Marsha Blackburn was asked on Fox News over the weekend about Biden and the International Trans Day of Visibility.
Senator, I do need to get your comment. Today being Easter, President Biden has designated this the Transgender Day of Visibility. What's your take on that?
You know, Jason, I think everyone should be insulted by this, the intentional nature of this. Easter is a religious holiday. It is such a sacred day where we all meet at the cross. And for this White House to declare it, to issue a proclamation for Transgender Visibility Day, and then at the same time to deny the use of religious symbols in the White House Easter egg hunt art competition. Think about that one. They are insulting every Christian who holds this day as a sacred day.
She's absolutely right, and she's fearless for going on Fox News and talking about it. Your comments, your reaction on the way, 615-737-9986. That's 615-737-9986. Hey, it's Chris Hand here from my friends at Paul Winkler, Inc. You know Paul. You probably heard his show over the weekend, the Investor Coaching Show. It runs every Saturday on WTN from 3 to 6. But maybe you don't know Paul's background and his extensive history. He actually started the Investor Coaching Show after he spent time studying under an economist who went on to win a Nobel Prize. That's kind of where Paul cut his teeth. That's pretty cool. And he's also an avid collector of financial planning designations. He has up to 8 now. And as you know, my wife and I, we work with Paul. We heard about him and heard him on WTN way before I got a show here. And when I came on board, even my wife was in my ear. She's like, we got to work with Paul. And here's why. They hold themselves to the highest level of fiduciary status. As such, I have to tell you, I get paid when I do these commercials. That's the law. But one of the main selling points for me to work with Paul's team was that they don't do anything on commission. They're more focused on educating you, not selling you. And the fact that they don't do anything on commission can really help you trust the process a lot more, because you know that they're not profiting off the decisions you make. Nothing is done on commission. They'll educate you along the way. You'll never get that uneasy feeling of blind trust. And when you work with Paul and his team, I guarantee you, you will learn a lot. They'll look at your whole financial picture, then help you make decisions, because your financial situation is going to be unique to you. Set up a 15-minute phone call today to get the process started. Go to paulwinkler.com. That's paulwinkler.com.
Anal cleansing dates back to the Egyptians. Coffee enemas have been all the rage for a few years now. But at Rectify Holistic, we say, why stop at coffee? We have detoxifying all-natural enemas for every occasion. Get that minty fresh taste with a peppermint enema, or be hydrated from behind with a coconut water enema. Acquire all the charm, hygiene, and je ne sais quoi of a Frenchman with a garlic enema. We've also got relaxing and inspiring flavors like Irish coffee, fruit juice, hamburger meat, or spicy spicy ground turkey. Become nature's softy serve machine with an ice cream enema. Or get ravaged by a burly Russian with the St. Petersburg surprise. Rectify Holistic. Come and get properly cleaned today.
Hello, Charlie Kelly here, local business owner and cat enthusiast. Is your cat making too much noise all the time? Is your cat constantly stomping around, driving you crazy? Is your cat clawing at your furnitures? Think there's no answer? You're so stupid. There is. Kitten mittens. Finally, there's an elegant, comfortable mitten for cats. I couldn't hear anything. Is your cat one-legged? Is your cat fat, skinny, or an in-between? That doesn't matter, because one size fits all. Kitten mittens. You'll be smitten. So come on down to Patty's Pub. We're the home of the original kitten mittens. Meow.
Well, there might be a break in the investigation of the deadly Easter brunch shooting. We'll tell you about it at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. On the way, I want to dig into 2024 a little bit. We're going to talk about Trump. We're going to talk about Biden. We're going to talk about some new polls. We're going to kind of switch away from the Transgender Day of Visibility and kind of go down a different route, including the Trump VP shortlist. Who made the list? Who is off the list? I got it for you on the way after Ken Weaver's newscast on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
O'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and we are now under a level 3 out of 5 threat for severe weather starting tomorrow. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Well, the Mercedes, which the Easter brunch shooter left the scene in, has been located. Metro Police say they found it overnight at 26th Avenue and Jefferson Street, but they have not found the suspect, Anton Rucker. Here's Channel 4's Jordan James with some background.
Shortly after the gunfire ended, Rucker left the establishment with a woman in a silver Mercedes. Meanwhile, detectives continue to comb into his background, which shows he's a convicted felon linked to assault, drugs, and weapon charges. MNPD is advising everyone across Middle Tennessee to remain vigilant.
Yeah, so this shooting was at the Roasted Coffee Shop in Salem Town. 33-year-old Alan Beecham was killed in the shooting. 4 others were injured. A prison death investigation update. TBI says a grand jury's returned an indictment charging Carlos Derek Green in the death of Justin Michael Walters at the River Bend Maximum Security Institute in Nashville more than 2 years ago. Green's currently serving a life sentence on an unrelated charge out of Shelby County. And more trouble at AT&T. Mary Alice Park says Social Security numbers are showing up on the so-called dark web after a data breach.
The size of this data breach was absolutely staggering. Over 70 million account holders. That's the equivalent of 1 in 5 Americans. Now, AT&T says that 90% are former accounts. The data appears to be from 2019 or earlier. AT&T says they're reaching out to those former customers, resetting the passcodes for current account holders, and working with cybersecurity experts. The company says they have not identified the source yet, and that personal call history and financial information was not included.
And with no winners over the weekend, tonight's Powerball jackpot is an estimated $975 million. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
What's the greatest decade in American history? The 1920s. We led the world in literature, aviation, music, and entertainment. Today, this country's a piece of dog shit. Let's bring back the glories of the jazz age by recreating the conditions that turned America into a superpower. The noble experiment is worth trying again. Vote yes on Proposition 14. Bring back prohibition and usher America into a new golden age.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. 2024 can't get here soon enough. Looking forward to November. I know you are as well. And it seems like many Americans are right there with you. Right there with you. There's new polling out. And this is not an April Fool's joke. This is actual polling. DailyMail.com released this. Voters believe Trump would be able to handle a nuclear emergency better than Joe Biden. They also believe he would be able to stay alert during meetings and remember the names of other world leaders. Yeah, I know that's not shocking to you. But this is what we're seeing out of new polling. Voters are more confident in Trump's ability to deal with a nuclear crisis than Biden. Okay, so making it through a 1-hour meeting with Putin. What do you think the final score on that was, Mac? Out of 100, right? So out of 100%, who had the higher score of making it through a 1-hour meeting with Putin?
What was Trump, like 25 points higher?
Trump was about 22 points higher.
Okay.
Yep. Remembering the names of key staff.
Oh, wow. It's 50.
Trump by 15. Remembering the names of world leaders he's conversing with. Not just remembering the names of world leaders, but ones that he's actively conversing with.
These are actually things that people got pulled on?
Yep.
Oh, my goodness. Trump by 20.
Trump was up by 13. Keep attention during a meeting.
I'll give Trump, but I don't know if his attention span's great. I'll give him 15.
That's fair. Wow. It's beautiful here.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
They had Trump by 11%. Fully digest his national security briefings.
That's got to be more than 11, right?
It was exactly 11.
Dang, okay.
Perform well during a nuclear emergency.
15?
Trump by 11.
Okay, so 11.
Here's the thing that I think is the most telling out of these polls. They're asking what percentage of people are confident with the president handling these situations and the former president handling these situations. Biden doesn't crack 50% on any of them. Not one. In fact, the highest percentage point he got was 46% confident. And that was remembering the name of world leaders he's conversing with. Maybe that's because Democrats know Joe Biden doesn't go anywhere without his note cards in hand, so he would be able to reference them during the conversation, possibly. But Trump doesn't dip below 54% on any of those questions. He's up in the 60s, high 50s for all of them. But, this is where we're at in America, right? 6 in 10 voters also believe that the term illegal aliens is the appropriate term to describe border crossers. And more than half of the people polled say it was wrong for Biden to backtrack after using it in the State of the Union address. A majority of Americans surveyed in the latest JL Partners DailyMail.com 2024 poll said using the term illegals is appropriate. Yep. Isn't that weird that the majority of Americans think if you break into the country illegally, calling you an illegal alien is appropriate? Biden used the term during his State of the Union address, then later apologized. Then the White House walked back the apology. They said it wasn't really an apology. He was more just saying he misspoke. we all know what happened. He apologized. President Biden drew the anger of the radical left when he used the term illegal to describe the killer of Laken Riley. This is right after he called her Lincoln Riley. But Americans are saying, no. Using the phrase illegal is perfectly fine and not dehumanizing to migrants that enter the country illegally, like so many on the radical left will tell you. And of course, that is a good thing to be saying. Here's a story that I've been waiting to talk about. We've all seen, speaking of illegals, right? We've all seen the migrant influencer who has been mocking U.S. taxpayers who work like slaves. The illegal alien influencer was caught on video telling people to squat in homes. He has been arrested by ICE. Lionel Moreno, the illegal immigrant migrant influencer who has urged his followers to use squatter laws to take over vacant American homes. He's taken Instagram more recently to mock American taxpayers, and he's been all over TikTok, time after time. He's been pushing people to go squat in homes and take them over, and he's been detained by ICE, which is a great win. He was detained by ICE in Ohio on Friday, and now the wife of this illegal alien TikTok influencer who has been arrested by ICE, she's complaining because she can't visit him in jail. She's prohibited from seeing him in jail. Her name is Veronica Torres. She told the New York Post that she has no idea where her husband, Lionel Moreno, has been taken. Thus, she has not been able to see him since his arrest. Moreno is a social media influencer. He's been pushing the squatters' rights to steal American properties, and she's like, well, I can't see him now. I think that maybe she should just say, you'll be able to see him once we send him home, back to his home. Because prior to his arrest, this guy has been pushing all sorts of stuff to his 500,000 TikTok followers, and his account has now been shut down. In addition to encouraging illegal aliens to invade the United States, commit crimes, Moreno also flaunted large amounts of cash on social media, and he said that it was all from government handouts in numerous recordings. He said he didn't come across the Rio Grande to work like a slave. He came to the U.S. to mark his territory. In one of the videos, he's been recorded saying, "You're hurt because I make more than you without much work while you work like slaves. Understand?" He's been arrested by ICE on Friday and is currently being held in jail, according to ICE documents. Hopefully, they can reunite him with his home country very, very soon, because it's time that we start seeing deportations happening. Another news story that we didn't get to last week, but I think it fits in with this quite well. Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, you know him, we all know him. He's abolished squatters' rights in Florida, which is fantastic. We need to stretch this across the entire country. The new law banning squatters' rights is making it quick and easy for homeowners to reclaim what's rightfully theirs in Florida. He signed the legislation last week. It's combating squatters' rights. And again, it basically puts the power back in the hands of homeowners. Now, when HB 621 goes into effect on July 1st, Floridians will have the ability to call police and have them remove anyone illegally occupying someone else's property and refuses to leave. Those caught committing the crime will face harsh penalties. DeSantis posted a video on social media last week, and he says, listen, we're not putting up with this anymore. And I say good. DeSantis is a good governor, and this is a step in the right direction.
House belong to you, or if you are not using it, can someone just come in, squat for a period of time, and then claim that they have a right to be there? This so-called squatter scam is something that's happening around the country. There's even videos telling people how to go in and take over an empty house. That was never how the law was supposed to work. And in Florida, we are going to take action today to end this scam and to protect the private property rights of our homeowners. You should not have anyone go on your property and take it over and then try to assert some rights. It's absurd. We're going to put an end to it today, and we'll be leading the way yet again in the process.
No, and I think this is a huge move for DeSantis, because who wants to deal with this kind of stuff? But people are dealing with it everywhere. Now, in Tennessee, we're not going to see the squatter stuff in the same rate or the same kind of capacity that you see it in Florida or in California or in some of these states that have strong squatters' rights laws. In Tennessee, the law states that a squatter has to possess the property continuously for 20 years to make a squatter's right claim. And they also have to meet criteria like enter the property without the owner's permission. Squatters need to prove how they use or care for the land. It just, I don't think this is something that's happening en masse in Tennessee, but I could be wrong. But I think it's great to see DeSantis put this law forward, because you're seeing this migrant influencer pushing for squatting, saying, come on in, there's empty houses. And once you take them over, you can live here for free, while he's, waving cash on TikTok. So a couple of things that are moving in the right direction. That illegal alien influencer has been arrested by ICE. Hopefully he'll be sent back home. DeSantis abolishing squatters' rights in Florida. That's awesome. On the flip side of that coin, a Texas judge has ordered the release of the illegal aliens that stormed the El Paso border. You probably remember this story. It happened while I was on vacation last week. There was a storming of illegal aliens. They were accused of assaulting troops during a violent storming of the El Paso border. And now a judge has let them go. Yep. It is the ruling of the court that all rioting participation cases will be released on their own recognizance, says Judge Acosta. This was yesterday. A Texas judge ordering the release of illegal aliens who were arrested during the recent viral storming of the border in El Paso, in which they rushed and assaulted National Guard troops while attempting to enter the U.S. illegally. The presiding magistrate judge, Humberto Acosta, ordered the release during an online teleconference bond hearing, per the El Paso Times. It is the ruling of the court that all the rioting participation cases will be released on their own recognizance, Acosta ordered. Judge Acosta criticized the El Paso District Attorney's Office for not being prepared to move forward with detention hearings for each defendant. On Monday, there will likely be another hearing for additional accused individuals. This comes after Texas authorities arrested 79 illegal aliens last week on misdemeanor riot charges in connection with the violent storming of the border. An official with ICE told the New York Post that ICE is holding more than 200 illegal immigrants in connection with the incident, but federal authorities are not being as cooperative as Border Patrol, which means that charging them will come as a challenge. The number of immigrants detained on suspicion of riot participation, a Class B misdemeanor, is unclear, although Acosta stated that hundreds of arrestees were entitled to 48-hour hearings in individual custody. Acosta denied Assistant District Attorney Ashley M. Martinez's plea for a postponement, so the hearings may take place at a later time. So if the DA's office is telling me, Acosta says at the hearing, if the DA's office is telling me that they're not ready to go, what we're going to do is we're going to release all these individuals on their own recognizance. Yep. That's what they did. The rioting illegal aliens destroyed the state-installed border wire, bringing down troops as they rushed to Gate 36 in hopes that the Border Patrol officials waiting on the other side would apprehend them and grant them entry into the United States. Well, they've gotten what they've wanted now. As they're being released on their own recognizance, they're going to be released in the United States. They're going to be free to do whatever they want. And I'd be highly suspicious of them showing up to their court date. There were soldiers stationed by steering small groups of adult illegal aliens back into Mexico not long before the border stampede. Shortly after, the rioters decided to rush the guardsmen. Several of the rioters had knives. They had shanks, which were seized by authorities, a National Guard source told the New York Post. But during that encounter, at least one illegal alien made an effort to take a hold of a soldier's firearm. A few of the soldiers stationed near Gate 36 that day were taken to a local hospital to be treated for injuries. And since then, Texas has increased the number of National Guard troops and Department of Public Safety troopers stationed in El Paso and increased the amount of border wire in the region to discourage unauthorized crossings and encourage migrants to go through ports of entry. It's a backwards, crazy world we live in. Do you think, well, not even do you think, we know that Americans that didn't do half of what these illegal aliens did at the Capitol on January 6th, they were not released on their own recognizance after 48 hours. It is a crazy, crazy backwards world we're living in, right? Insane. It's 10:20 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dirt is everywhere. Filthy germs are everywhere. Death is everywhere. It's time to sanitize everything, including yourself. Make your life safe again with Pontius Advanced Hand Sanitizer. During the day, you are exposed to literally millions of life-threatening germs and viruses. Use Pontius Advanced Hand Sanitizer several times an hour and protect yourself and your loved ones. It's not neuroses, it's good hygiene. Pontius is so hard on germs, it burns off the top layer of your skin, leaving you clean and fresh. And it's so strong, it will one day create a drug-resistant superbacteria that will wipe out half of mankind. Pontius, it's time to sanitize everything.
Kids need stability, loving, stable parents, and a domestic environment similar to their friends. In the next election, it's time to finally make a change. Vote yes on Proposition 43 and outlaw the nuclear family once and for all. The nuclear family is the relic of a bygone age. Like nuclear reactors, they are dirty and prone to meltdowns that will poison generations to come. Vote yes on Proposition 43. It's time for some real family values.
A break in the investigation of yesterday's deadly coffee shop shooting, and a prison inmate already serving a life sentence in Nashville is charged in the death of another inmate. These stories and more at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name's Chris Hand, Mac Morey producing. Ken Weaver in the newsroom. It's so good to have him back. But you guys are the most important part of the show on the Members Nutrition text line and the phone lines at 615-737-9986. Mac, what's going on with your boys, the Chiefs? First, what day is this now with your Chiefs gear? We at 32?
32.
You made it back to work the other day in the beanie?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So we're at 32 days of you wearing Chiefs gear to celebrate the Chiefs.
We are.
All right. So what's going on with your boys?
Yeah. So you're referring to Rashee Rice, who
The fact that it seems like they're all criminals.
Yeah. So we'll stick to facts here. No, they aren't. Yeah. So Rashee Rice, who is also not a criminal yet, and this is all alleged. Let's be clear. He allegedly.
To be fair, I said it seems like they're all criminals.
You're right.
I wasn't. I said it. I said it without saying
seem
the
like
word
that either,
allegedly.
but that's okay.
It
does not seem like
that.
It
seems to me that all of your Chiefs friends are getting into crime.
All right. So Rashee Rice was involved in a crash that he was racing. Well, not he. His car. His car that is registered to him. Corvette racing. I believe it was a Lamborghini. This is broad daylight.
Is that allowed?
No, they were going fast on a highway, and then they crashed into two other cars. So it was a 4-vehicle crash. No flipping of vehicles. If you look at these vehicles, they might be totaled, but it's not necessarily as bad as what you would maybe think of when you're thinking of 140 miles an hour in two sports cars in broad daylight.
I'm not going to pretend to be a NASCAR expert, but when you're racing, you don't want to crash into other cars.
Not a good idea. But clearly you see all the gentlemen from each sports car just kind of casually leave the scene.
And this was in California, right?
No, this was in Texas.
It was in Texas.
This was in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah. So was you going to make some liberal joke? Now you can't. It backfired on you because it was in the Lone Star. So that was funny.
I was going to make.
That's funny. So a total of 6 vehicles were tore up due to the accident. 4 others, 2 of those sports cars. And yeah, you see all these guys just walking away from the scene. And so now one of those cars is registered to Rashee Rice, and now they're searching for him. Obviously, information takes a while to get reported out of officials. So maybe they're interviewing Rashee Rice right now. Maybe they have him in custody, and maybe they're waiting to reports. But yeah, as of right now, from what we know, they're still searching for him because that was his car. We don't know if he was on the scene. Like, I'm looking at one of these pictures of the dudes leaving. I can't tell if one of them is Rashee or not. So
is he good?
He was a rookie last year, and he broke a lot of records. Great, really good wide receiver.
Will he lose his gig over this?
No.
No?
If he were to lie about what happened to Andy Reid, which has happened before with one of our other players a few years back, he will get cut. That's the thing.
I saw rumors on the internet, which of course they're probably true, that people were leaving cars with bags, alleged weapons and drugs.
Oh, in this instance?
In this instance.
Oh, I see. I haven't heard about guns or drugs. Let me see.
I've heard rumors that people were seen fleeing vehicles with bags.
Oh, gotcha.
Have you seen anything like that?
This one picture, this guy's holding, it looks like a Gucci bag. The other 4 gentlemen in this picture are not holding a bag, but there is one guy leaving with a bag. Yeah, I did not notice that. So there is a bag that will probably be in question, I imagine, if all these guys get into custody.
Could be football pads.
Yeah, could be some pads. But yeah, the thing is, I'm sure drinking was involved, and leaving the scene in some states is quote unquote a good idea because
I heard it was frowned upon.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea. In Texas, this will be a felony.
Oh, jeez. 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Here's Ken Weaver.
Severe weather threat has been increased to a level 3 out of 5. That is enhanced, and we can't rule out tornadoes. The timeline is tomorrow between 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. Tell you more during the full forecast in 2 minutes. Metro Police say they've located the getaway car from yesterday's Easter brunch shooting at the Roasted Coffee Shop. 46-year-old Anton Rucker is alleged to have shot 5 people, killing 1. Police say he left with a woman in a silver Mercedes SUV, which was located overnight at 26th Avenue North and Jefferson Street, but still no sign of Rucker or that woman. A Tennessee prison inmate already serving a life sentence, now charged in the death of another inmate. TBI says a grand jury returned an indictment charging Carlos Derek Green in the 2022 death of Justin Michael Walters at Nashville's River Bend Maximum Security Institute. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Why invest in currency, stocks, or real estate? They aren't tangible assets. When the market crashes, you're left with nothing. Invest in something real. Get in on the next boom now with Floyd's Scrap Metal Emporium. Strip mining's been popular with companies. Now you can take strip mining urban as we strip mine a church or empty condo. It's the next economy that junkies discovered. Now you can cash in on it. Gut your plumbing. Melt down your knives and forks for cash. Take apart old electronics. Dissect batteries yourself and take out the lead. These days, buyers are paying top dollar for metal. Melt down your kid's tricycle or your aging mother's wheelchair and turn it into cold hard cash. She's gonna be dead soon anyway. Quit pushing her around. We'll see ya at Floyd's Scrap Metal Emporium.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's going on? It's Chris Hand, Mac Morey producing, Ken Weaver in the newsroom. You guys on the Members Nutrition text line and the phone lines. 615-737-9986. That's 615-737-9986. We were talking about the election season upcoming, 2024, and Trump's VP shortlist. Are you ready for the shortlist? I think we're all ready for the shortlist. And, you know, if this was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire back in the day, you'd give me 50-50. I can eliminate two of these choices already. All right, so the short list, the headline reads, Vance, Gabbard, Noem, Huckabee, Sanders. I would take out Gabbard. I would take out Noem. Vance or Huckabee Sanders would be fantastic. But they're saying Politico is reporting that Trump has a short list of several options. And the list includes a diverse range of candidates, including, you ready for this? Katie Britt, Marco Rubio, Tim Scott, J.D. Vance, Doug Burgum, Kristi Noem, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Rep. Byron Donalds, Elise Stefanik, and Tulsi Gabbard. Which name jumps out to you? 615-737-9986. Trump's campaign team has reportedly enlisted an outside firm to vet all the potential vice president candidates per Politico, and Trump is intending to take his time in selecting a running mate, and they say that he's adopting an apprentice-style approach. That's what sources close to the matter say. An apprentice style. Did you ever watch the old Apprentice shows?
For sure.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
I have to go back and watch them. I never watched them when they were on.
I loved it every Sunday. Yep.
They were too current thing for me.
Money. Yeah, when John Rich came on the Matt Murphy show last week, I wanted to introduce myself. I was a little nervous, but I literally would have been like, hey, don't know your music, but loved watching on Celebrity Apprentice.
You didn't introduce yourself?
I didn't.
Why?
I just didn't that day. I don't know. I wasn't feeling it.
You should have.
I know. Next time I will.
Were you wearing the Chiefs shirt with the holes?
Exactly. I don't know. Hopefully not. Hey, he might have dug that. Who knows?
I feel like you and John Rich would get along.
I think like we would have too. Yeah.
You guys would.
Seems like a good guy.
You missed an opportunity to be best friends.
Next time, John, if you're listening, I'm here, man.
All right. Well, he's not going to introduce himself to you.
Just come say hi. You know where I'm at. Okay.
He's in the newsroom. Where you are? Like that's so silly. Should have got a picture with him or something.
Next time.
I would have done it. I had to go to the Grand Canyon. So
yeah. Sure.
Yep. Trump shortlist.
Was Huckabee Sanders on that one?
She is on that one.
Okay, I didn't know if I heard her or not.
Dude, I think that she is a home run pick for vice president. So the list again, one more time. Katie Britt, meh. Marco Rubio, Tim Scott, like no. Like I like Tim.
Like no.
I like Tim. I do. But he just seems too establishmenty, right? Like establishmenty fresh. You know what I mean? J.D. Vance, I'd be a huge fan of that. Doug Burgum, I liked Burgum during the debates when they gave him a chance to talk. Kristi Noem, I've been out on Kristi Noem since I've seen like the weird endorsement things that she's doing on social media. Have you seen all of her weird endorsement spots?
Oh, yeah, I do remember this.
She's doing like a North Dakota local good feed store. She's doing a dentist office from Texas. I don't know. It just seems off. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, home run. absolute home run. Byron Donalds would be great as well. Elise Stefanik, like, I know people really like her. I don't know. Do you think that she has that kind of presence? I feel like you have to have somebody with some presence. Maybe I'm misreading the situation. I know a lot of people really like her. I don't think that she would be a good choice, especially when you point to the others on the list like Byron Donalds or Sarah Huckabee Sanders or even J.D. Vance. Those to me are just lights out home runs. Trump's campaign team, they're going to vet all these potential vice president candidates, and no Tucker Carlson on the list.
Not surprised, though.
I'm not surprised, but I am disappointed.
You're sad.
Makes me sad. Trump has been echoing that he's not going to make any choices too soon, but he's saying that he has a short list of fighters. He's praising them. At a recent rally, Trump referred to Senator J.D. Vance in particular as a fighter, underscoring the importance of selecting a strong and determined candidate to join his ticket in 2024. Who do you think would be the best choice? 615-737-9986. That's his short list. The Biden campaign, they're more looking towards not screwing up as they head towards November. Biden is apparently set to shun national media and do even fewer major interviews during the campaign. How do you do fewer interviews than what he's doing now? How? They're saying that his aides, Biden's aides, are trying to plan a gaffe-free campaign. So instead of doing major interviews, they're going to book him with local news outlets and influencers in swing states instead. Yep. So he'll be speaking with local media outlets and influencers instead of national reporters during the 2024 campaign. They don't have a pandemic to lean on. He's not going to be able to campaign from his basement, but the Hill reported on Thursday that Biden likes talking to local reporters more. As the White House press corps clamors for more press conferences and interviews, one longtime aide said, "You're going to get more bang for your buck." Okay. So no national media, even fewer major interviews during the 2024 campaign for Biden. At this point, I'm pretty sure debates aren't going to happen, right? Like debates are out of the question. If he can't do a major media interview with someone that's going to lob softball questions at him, how is this guy going to get through a debate? They say the gaffe-prone president enjoys talking about local issues instead of the news of the day questions and queries about his poll numbers that he gets from the national press, the report said. There's a quote that says, "It's always helpful when the president can speak to a community specifically about his accomplishments without all the noise," the aide said. It's more effective than sitting down with a network where many of the voters are already going to vote for you anyway. I don't know. I don't know if these voters are going to vote for him anyway. I feel like leftists are waking up more and more day after day after day when they're faced with the realities of what the Biden presidency has done or accomplished, or maybe not accomplished at all. You know, we joked about Nikki Haley losing to none of the above. There was a Fox News poll where they were asking about Biden's biggest accomplishments, and the winner of the poll with 38% was none.
And when asked about the Biden administration's top accomplishments, new Fox polls show nothing was the big winner, as you can see on the screen ahead of you. What's interesting to me is that 38% said nothing, that he hadn't done anything that had helped them in any material way.
38% leads the league with nothing. Nothing as Joe Biden's biggest accomplishment. And because of these lack of accomplishments, Biden is going to avoid major media interviews. During his first 3 years in office, Biden is way behind Trump in giving interviews. As of just January of this year, end of January, he had sat down with reporters 86 times compared to Trump's 300 times, according to data combined by a political science professor at Towson University who studies the White House communications. It's not shocking. It's not shocking. And leftists are waking up en masse. Michael Rappaport, you know Michael Rappaport?
For sure.
He's a big leftist, hates Trump, was really suffering from Trump derangement syndrome in a bad way. He did a recent interview, and who did he do the recent interview with? He did this with some podcast, okay? Vice Grad. Do you know Vice Grad?
Never heard him.
Never heard of him either. Anyway, he sat down with Vice Grad 24 on the beaches of Tel Aviv, and he is definitely no longer riding with Biden, and I feel like a lot of liberals, not rabid leftists, but like liberals in the classic sense, agree with this, what Michael Rappaport has to say about why he's not voting for Biden.
My political views have changed immensely. I will not vote for Joe Biden. At this point, when we're doing this interview, voting for Trump is on the table. People are like, what are you talking about? That's my reality. I will not support anybody who's anti-Israel. I will not support anybody that is anti-making America safe, that is cool with the fact that I got to show my ID at least 3 or 4 times at the airport, but it takes you 2 minutes to cross the border. I'm not down with that. I'm not down with police officers in the greatest city on earth getting beaten up. You're a legal immigrant, and then you have no bail. I'm not...
And flipping off the camera.
Flipping off the camera. I'm not down with going into a Costco or a 7-Eleven, cleaning out the spot. So any of these people that support it, I'm not voting for them. I'm not getting caught up or suckered into these race politics or any of that bullshit anymore.
I will say this. His last line to me is the most humility I've ever seen this guy display. He says, I'm not going to get suckered into this BS or these race politics anymore. He's admitting that he was suckered into that before. Did you catch that?
Caught up or suckered into these race politics or any of that bullshit anymore.
I'm not getting suckered into that anymore. And listen, this is like a celebrity, right? Would you consider Michael Rappaport a celebrity? B-lister, C-lister?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, people know who he is. The leftists definitely know who he is. And I would argue for every Michael Rappaport, you have another regular citizen, maybe 10, 20, 30, who feel the exact same way. You know, there's a viral video going around of a man in Baltimore, a black guy, who's echoing a lot of the same points that Michael Rappaport is echoing. Granted, he doesn't have the platform Michael Rappaport has, but it sounds like they're talking about the exact same thing.
Couldn't pay me to vote for a Democrat. Local, state, federal elections, I don't care what it is. You couldn't pay me to vote for one. You know why? Because they know that we, and I mean people whose skin color look like mine, they know that we vote party over interest. So after we vote, what do? They don't need us for anything. That's what they do. Year after year after year. I'm from Baltimore, and I go home at least twice a year to see family. Same abandoned homes, same crime rate. We haven't had a Republican mayor since the 60s. And look at our environment. The same can be said for Memphis. The same can be said for St. Louis. The same can be said for Detroit. The same can be said for a lot of these cities all over this country that have been led down the toilet by Democrats for decades. Stop voting party over interest and vote interest over party.
Listen, I totally get what this guy's saying. I lived right outside of Detroit for a couple of years, and I remember my wife has a lot of family in Detroit, and I remember we were sitting there one day, the Flint crisis is happening, all this stuff's going on. We had everybody over. I think it was for Mother's Day one year, and we're sitting there. I'm like, so I remember I made everybody's head explode because I said, so at what point with Detroit failing like this do we go? I don't know, maybe we should try a Republican and just see what happens. And nobody thought that was an acceptable answer. But I think that people are waking up more and more to the fact that, hey, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again and expecting different results because the different results aren't coming. In fact, it's the same results except faster. Things are getting worse faster. The debt is accumulating faster. The country's going down the drain faster. Cannot wait till November. It's 10:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Your professional life as an executive is spent on a corporate treadmill. Why work out on one? Channel your rage into something positive at the Queensberry Boxing Club. After all those meetings where you've restrained yourself from smashing another doofus with an MBA in the face, now you can take up the noble sport of yuppie boxing. Take out your aggression and harken back to a simpler time when a man like you would have fought with his fists, not his legal team. It's artificial and controlled masculine posturing, just like the rest of your life. Plus, there's something invigorating and uniquely manly about giving another yuppie brain damage. Come by the Queensberry Boxing Club and find out how the fight game can bring out the ultimate player in you.
At Lombank, we're with you every step of the way.
We sell your dreams.
We're not a soulless, monolithic institution.
We are, but we use nostalgic imagery.
It's walking into your dream home.
You can't really afford it. We'll lend you the money anyway.
It's kids graduating from college.
With pointless degrees riddled with debt.
It's happy picnics on the beach.
There's sewage in the water.
Family portraits with everyone dressed the same.
You look like twats.
Canoeing in the lake.
By the power station.
Catching fireflies in a jar.
And watching them die.
Cheering at high school football games.
The kids are giving each other brain damage.
These are the things our lives are made of.
Interest rates only 33.4%.
Lombank. We're the American bank that truly, more or less, cares
about profits.
The risk for severe weather in Middle Tennessee is changing, and a new development in the Easter brunch shooting investigation. This and more at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. Looking forward to that newscast coming up. I'm getting a lot of texts on the Members Nutrition text line about the VP choices. My favorite here is, who was it? Oh, gosh, I lost it. It was such a good choice, too. Oh, man. Did you see that one I'm talking about, Mac?
I don't think so.
8246. 8246 said, Chris Hand for VP.
Oh.
I'd be honest with you, though. I would take the gig. I wouldn't donate my salary like Trump did. I'm just going to be upfront about that right now. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Yeah, the risk for severe weather in Middle Tennessee is going up. It's now enhanced. That's a level 3 out of 5. With the greatest risk for tornadoes being between Middle Tennessee, well, actually from Middle Tennessee to central Kentucky. This is Ginger Z talking about how this will be part of a system that walloped California over the weekend.
Tulsa to Oklahoma City this afternoon, all the way up through central Illinois, you're in an enhanced risk. So even down to Dallas and Fort Worth, this afternoon and evening, you've got to have 2 ways of getting warnings, because from Austin to Cincinnati, it's going to be a pretty big day. And then tomorrow it moves into the Mid-South, centers itself on Nashville.
Yeah, the timeline will be 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. We'll have you covered. A new development in the Easter brunch shooting investigation in Nashville. Metro Police say they located the suspect's vehicle overnight, but still no sign of the suspect. Police say 46-year-old Anton Rucker shot 5 people at the Roasted Coffee Shop yesterday afternoon. One of them died, identified as 33-year-old Alan Beachman. As for the motive,
it may have been something as simple as one person invading another person's space.
Now, police found that silver Mercedes SUV Rucker left the scene in 2 miles away at 26th Avenue North and Jefferson Street overnight. One of the country's leading telecommunications companies says customer information's been stolen in a data breach.
AT&T says some 70 million of its current and former account holders have had their personal information compromised and posted on the dark web. It stems from a data breach the company says happened back in 2019 or earlier and may include customer names, social security numbers, passcodes, email and mailing addresses, phone numbers, and birth dates. AT&T says it's reaching out to affected customers, resetting passcodes, and offering free identity theft protection and credit monitoring. Authorities are still trying to trace the culprits of the breach.
That's Derek Dennis reporting. And the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Your grocery store defines what kind of person you are. Join the organic elite at the Grain of Truth and shop with superiority. Food has never been this self-satisfying. Featuring organic, natural, fair trade, macrobiotic, sustainably harvested, farm-to-table, Goji-infused, antioxidant-rich, 7-grain, 12-grain, whole grain, gluten-free, cruelty-free, vegan, vagina, non-genetically modified, zero-trans fat, free-range foods at prices you simply won't believe. It's that, or are you more of the factory-farmed, genetically altered, hormone-infused, horse meat-infected, slave labor-harvested, agribusiness-supporting, obesity-causing common herd? We didn't think so. You're just like us. You belong. Shop with people just like you. People that drive hybrids and listen to public radio and argue about recycling. It's unscalable elitism for the sustainable crowd. Open up your mouth and look down at people. It's delicious. It's the Grain of Truth food stores. Naturally exclusive.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. A couple of people talking about VP choices on the members nutrition text line. People are saying, you can't be Byron Donalds, both from Florida. I understand that. I feel like they could work something out, right? 0397 said Trump hand 2024. They're beautiful and huge, Marco. Somebody else said I wouldn't take Chris Hand for VP because we have enough government hands in our pockets already. It's true.
Wow, shots fired.
I know. So this is fun. All right, I hope you're having a great day. Unwinding from your Trans Day of Visibility yesterday. I know a lot of you guys were out there celebrating, doing all the things that comes with Trans Day of Visibility. We do it every year. So hope you had a great time. The Bidens did try to damage control their move to publicly acknowledge it, Easter Sunday being Transgender Day of Visibility, by releasing a statement and saying Happy Easter and acknowledging Jesus and all that. But many Christians found that to be too little, too late. Mike Johnson was one of those. He said the Biden White House has betrayed the central tenet of Easter, which is the resurrection of Jesus Christ, banning sacred truth and tradition while at the same time proclaiming Easter Sunday as Transgender Day is outrageous and abhorrent. The American people are taking note. That was Speaker Mike Johnson reacting to the fact that it was, Transgender Day at the White House, not Easter. It's funny, man. It's like the war on Christians is so real. It's so real, and people are waking up to it every single day. I said this earlier. I want to acknowledge it one more time. 30% of Christians aren't registered to vote. Get politically active in your church. Tell people it is time to step up. We need to show out big at the ballot box come November, because they just gaslight us and lie to us all the time. Anyway, there's a CNN reporter out there claiming that Transgender Visibility Day always occurred on the same date when he was growing up. Except, this CNN reporter, on the first Transgender Day of Visibility in 2009, he was 20. This is what these people do. On Saturday, it was CNN investigative reporter Andy Kaczynski, and he claimed that Transgender Day of Visibility has always been the same date every year, and those upset about President Biden declaring it a holiday when it falls on Easter this year are simply looking for something to be outraged about. Except, again, this was created in 2009 when this reporter was 20. But he said this. He said on Twitter, Andy Kaczynski, growing up a religious Catholic who went to church twice weekly, I understand that Easter changes every year and Transgender Visibility Day always occurs on the same date. This is just making up stuff to be outraged about. I don't think we're making up stuff to be outraged about. Let me check Twitter. Has the White House issued a statement on the Bibles being burned? Has the FBI sent agents to Mount Juliet to discuss the Bibles being burned? No, of course not. Of course not. The FBI, though, I will say this: the FBI, they're pretty busy these days. they've been showing up to people's houses to discuss social media posts. This happened last week. The FBI showed up to an Oklahoma woman's house to question her about social media posts. The FBI, their agents launched an investigation in Oklahoma to look into Facebook posts, according to Fox News. So this woman, Rala Abdul-Jawad, was reportedly visited by the FBI concerning her social media activity. And it was because she was posting anti-Israel content on Facebook, and I find it just appalling. The First Amendment is there to defend the most vile of speech. It is not there to defend speech we agree with. And if a woman is upset about the Israel-Palestine war and she's taking to Facebook, why is the FBI showing up? I think that we can disagree with what her posts are and still defend the fact that she doesn't need to have her door knocked on by the FBI because she posted something anti-Israel. It's amazing. I have the audio from that FBI visit, and it's pretty wild. The FBI shows up to her house, and she actually does a pretty good job on handling the FBI. I'll give her that.
You said you were with the FBI?
That's correct.
And why won't you show me your credentials?
We did. I showed you my.
I didn't take a look at them. I said 1 second, I'll be right back. Are you going to show me your credentials or no?
Yeah, we did already. And we identified ourselves. So what we'd like to do.
I didn't look at your credentials again. I didn't verify them. I told you to wait, and I went inside.
Okay, that's correct. What we'd like to do is just have a conversation with you about some social media posts that you've made. Would you be willing to talk to us today about that?
No, I would not. I would like you to later talk on with my lawyer.
Okay.
Do you have identification?
Do you have a card or something?
Cards?
For an attorney that we can reach out to?
No. I'll get back to you.
Yeah, she said, I'll get back to you. Do you have any identification? They said that they showed it to her. They didn't want to show it on camera. Okay, I understand. Allegedly, the specific posts that caught the FBI's eyes are unknown. But she's been outspoken against the Gaza conflict, criticizing Israel and showing support for Palestine. And apparently it's well documented on her Facebook, according to Fox News. In one post, she said, Israeli terrorist filth. They think Ramadan is weakness for Muslims. Ramadan is the strength. Free Palestine. May Allah destroy every single despicable Zionist, their supporters and backers. I mean, listen, she didn't say anything that is worth defending. Don't fall for their games. Our community is being watched, and they're waiting for any reason to round us up, she wrote on March 24th. If you're Muslim and or pro-Pal, consider all your media accounts, Google searches, mail, messenger, local mosques, and political events monitored. I'm not defending what she said, but she has every right to say it. This is still America. And the FBI is going to check on her for her Facebook posts. I find it appalling. Where's the FBI for the burning of Bibles? No, they're focused on this woman's social media posts.
If you can just call and give her a name, then we'll be able to get you in contact with us and we'll be happy to support you.
And tell him that Facebook flagged me for posts.
Facebook gave us a couple screenshots of your accounts.
Okay, so we no longer live in a free country and we can't say what we want?
No, we totally do. That's why we're not here to arrest you or anything like that.
Well, you can't arrest me for freedom of speech. We live in America.
Yes, right.
Exactly, so it's kind of weird that you want to come talk to me about me exercising my freedom of speech.
It is kind of weird. And he says, well, we're not here to arrest you. But Facebook sent us some screenshots. So I think one of the big takeaways here is Facebook and the federal government are still very much in bed. And if you're saying the wrong things on Facebook or Instagram, social media, the government might catch wind of it like they did with this woman.
So do you have a conversation with everybody on the neighborhood?
Do you have information that anybody else in the neighborhood is?
I mean, all I've done is exercise my right as an American citizen on a public social media platform with my personal opinions. Correct? Okay. Most of the individuals, right, in America, especially older generation, right, have Facebook. Are you questioning all the citizens in America?
We certainly would if we had any sort of concern.
He said, we certainly would if we had any sort of concerns. This is what the FBI is doing to be proactive with their time. If you listen to this woman, you could probably understand that she's probably not a threat. I understand doing investigations and making sure people are safe in this current climate where terrorism is at a heightened risk. I totally understand that. But I think it's also important to point out that the reason the risk is so heightened is because of the Biden administration, their wide open southern border. But, listen, this woman handles the FBI great. If you lie to the FBI during a counterterror investigation, you can get something like 8 years, $250,000 fine per lie. So not providing any information as she did, that's a good move. Now, whether you or not you lie is honestly, it's up to the FBI's leftist attorneys. And then it's up to probably a leftist prosecutor to decide whether or not to prosecute. And then it would be up to a leftist judge to decide whether or not to issue warrants. So saying nothing in some senses is going to be optimal. But you're not even required to tell the FBI about a crime someone else says they'll commit. As long as you don't cover it up or lie about it, you're fine. This is, when they start questioning, are you going to question all my neighbors? Are you going to question all this? Well, we certainly would if we had the time. I mean, the FBI and the media, they make it seem like you have this duty that you have to speak to them. You don't. If you follow the law, but say stuff that the government doesn't like, they're going to put you on a watch list. You're not going to get security clearances. You're not going to be able to work near nukes, even if it's just cleaning up trash. They may grab your trash, the FBI, no warrant required to look for any sorts of stuff. They'll talk to your neighbors, coworkers, family. This is America under Joe Biden. This is the Department of Justice under Joe Biden. Again, this woman's posts were terrible, but it's shocking to me that this is what we have the FBI doing. Going after a woman because of her First Amendment rights. Seriously. And how many people are saying anti-Israeli things on social media? How many? Renee on the Members Nutrition text line said, there are millions of people in the U.S. posting against Israel on social media. Why is this woman being targeted? It's for some other reason. And also, while I definitely condemn what happened in Mount Juliet yesterday, she says she's not really a huge fan of the pastor there. Well, I don't know much about the pastor there. I just know that burning Bibles on Easter isn't exactly a good look, to say the least. Danny said, I missed her name. Who is she? The woman that was questioned by the FBI, her name is Rala Abdeljawad, and she was visited by FBI agents about her social media activity. Basically, she was posting anti-Israeli stuff on social media, pro-Palestine, and they decided that that was enough to go to her home, 3 agents deep, and question her. She called the Israelis terrorist filth. She was very pro-Palestinian, very pro-Muslim. But that's her right. Like that is America. You're allowed to do these things. You're allowed to say these things. And Facebook flagged the post, and they sent them to the FBI, and then the FBI sent 3 agents to her home to talk to her. It's just like this ever moving, just infringing on our constitutional rights. You're allowed to say things the government doesn't like. That's what the First Amendment is there for. 100%. That's what it's there for. And you know what? You can say like, well, she probably shouldn't have posted that stuff about Israel. Well, if you were posting anti-Trans Day of Visibility content on Facebook, you might be on a watch list now too. Because as we know, it's anybody that goes against the government in any way is being attacked, right? Christians are under attack. And it's been that way for a while. We saw the protesters, again, in Mount Juliet, that were protesting at the abortion clinic, facing up to 11 years in prison. We're seeing this all the time. You know, Tucker Carlson actually interviewed the man facing 11 years in prison for praying in an abortion clinic. And it's crazy that, like, you know, with the Trans Day of Visibility, we think that oh, this is new, this is really ramping up, but it's not new. It's not ramping up. This is just being exposed more and more because they're so blatant with their anti-Christian bias.
You're facing 11 years in prison for praying and singing hymns in an abortion clinic. Is that correct?
Absolutely correct.
But FBI agents in body armor with rifles drawn at you, do you have any history of violence?
No.
How do you feel about the prospect of going to jail for praying?
They talk about taking 10 years of my life, potentially. And the reality as a Christian is I've already laid my life down. I fully believe and understand that God is leading me and that we're here today because of events that are in His control. And if you look at the New Testament, a good majority of the scripture was written from jail. And so if He wants me to go to jail and minister, I'm in His hands.
This is why they're afraid of you. Right there. That's why they're afraid of you.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. That was Paul Vaughn, who is facing up to 11 years in prison for praying and praying outside an abortion clinic in October I don't know if it was exactly October. I know that the FBI raided him in October of 2022. But this is the war on Christians. This is the war on your constitutional rights. This is what the FBI is spending their time doing. They're going after people for Facebook posts. They're going after Christians for praying. We're seeing this every single day in this country. It's crazy, man. It's 11:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, and I am here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. You know the guys at Busy Bee. It's that time of year where we're kicking on our AC, we're kicking on our heat in the exact same day. That's like early spring in Tennessee, right? Well, if your systems haven't been serviced the best way, the Busy Bee way with Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, you are effectively waiting for a problem to pop up with one of them, your heat or your AC this time of year. Don't wait for that problem. Be proactive and keep your unit in tip-top shape. Whether you need annual maintenance, repair, or replacement plumbing and heating air system, call the guys who I trust, Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And if you've been kicking the can on getting your AC repaired or replaced after last season, maybe went out right towards the end of last season, you're like, I can deal with it. You know, it's getting more comfortable outside. Well, we're quickly approaching that season where it's not going to be comfortable if you don't have your AC working. And if you do need to repair or replace it, you won't find a better value on repair or replacement systems. When it comes to replacement systems, Busy Bee offers up to 12 months with no payment, no interest, with approved credit, and it'll pay in so many ways to get that Beehive membership, which will get you your annual maintenance on plumbing, heating, or air systems, no overtime charges 24/7, and 10% off all repairs. Plus, Busy Bee has convenient Saturday availability for you, so you'll never be waiting over the weekend for your heat or your AC to be repaired. Busy Bee, they're your Rude Pro partner for satisfaction guaranteed. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling at 615-775-7833. That's 615-775-7833, or online at busybeehvac.com.
You are an American, so default with pride. We will show you how. We'll help you solve your problem with the bank once and for all in a truly grand fashion. Mortgages should be illegal. They are certainly immoral. You are actually expected to pay more than a house is worth. You were probably tricked by lawmakers and clever salesmen who gave you money and expected you to pay it back to them slowly over time. Well, now you don't have to. If they were foolish enough to loan money to a guy like you, they deserve to suffer. Do you know how many homes meet a tragic end due to electrical malfunctions, improper storage of petroleum, mudslides, and other disasters? Well, let's just put it like this. There's about to be one more.
Visit stoppayingyourmortgage.net.
Kids need stability, loving, stable parents, and a domestic environment similar to their friends. In the next election, it's time to finally make a change. Vote yes on Proposition 43 and outlaw the nuclear family once and for all. The nuclear family is the relic of a bygone age. Like nuclear reactors, they are dirty and prone to meltdowns that will poison generations to come. Vote yes on Proposition 43. It's time for some real family values.
More prison time for convicted killer Alex Murdaugh and a top Iranian military official killed in an airstrike. These stories and more at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Mac, have you been watching the March Madness stuff?
Oh, yeah.
So, Tennessee, what happened?
Yeah, I lost yesterday in the Elite Eight, but only second Elite Eight in program history. So you got to take it as a win, right?
All right, I guess.
Yeah, it was a really close game. Almost beat Purdue.
What was the final score?
Not off the top of my head. We ended up losing by 4 or 5 points. It was a one possession. I mean, it was tied. It was 1 point game at halftime. It was tied with 5 minutes left. It was back and forth.
No, I get it. I've been more into the women's NCAA tournament,
dude. I know you're joking, but tonight it's about to be awesome. I'm not going to watch NBA. I'm going to watch women's college basketball.
Are you really?
No, like straight up.
What's the game that you're watching?
Iowa versus LSU, and then you've got this girl named Juju Watkins on South Carolina that I really want to watch. But yeah, Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark. That's the matchup.
All right.
You're like, cool.
Did you see what happened at that one game, though?
Dude, what the heck? You sent me that. I was like, oh, my gosh.
I sent Mac this Twitter clip because that's basically the gist of my it's not the WNBA, but female Final Four. I said, Mac, I want to take from you on this. So apparently in the NCAA's women's tournament, who was playing? Texas and NC State?
Yeah.
Texas and NC State are playing in the NCAA women's tournament. And officials say that the Portland court wrongly measured the 3-point line.
Yep.
So one side had a shorter 3-point line than the other side.
Specifically, at the top of the arc, it was like over 6 inches shorter. And it was for 5 games. There were 5 games played there.
And people bet on these games.
Oh, yeah. Money spent.
What happens if you lost by a 3 and you can determine that it was on that?
And then that would have been crazy. Luckily, nothing like that happened. I'm looking at this article from AP. Turns out these, like guys too, girls, shoot maybe a couple steps behind the 3-point line sometimes. It actually turns out the longer or the correct arc had a higher percentage of threes made than the shorter arc. So that's fortunate because that definitely could have been the other way. And you're right. We would have been having this conversation of like, okay, well, how many of those threes were actually threes?
Well, I wonder if that messes things up. If you're thinking, it's the normal distance that it is.
And
it
so you're strong.
Works in reverse. Yeah.
But yeah, they said I think they call them technicians in this article. But yeah, their technician was off and it would have taken an hour for them to come back and fix it. And the coaches mutually decided, let's play the game. It's crazy.
Like, hey, nobody's gonna really check the.
Yeah, whatever. Right? Yeah, no, it's that's Bush League for sure. Got to step up.
Bush League indeed. 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. The severe weather threat level has been increased for Middle Tennessee from a level 3 out of 5, or rather to a level 3 out of 5. That is enhanced. Got the full forecast in 2 minutes. Metro Police say they recovered the getaway vehicle from yesterday's deadly shooting at the Roasted restaurant 2 miles away from the crime scene at 26th Avenue North and Jefferson Street, but still no sign of the man police say is the suspect, Anton Rucker. Convicted killer Alex Murdaugh has been sentenced to more years in prison for financial crimes. He's already serving 2 life sentences for the murder of his wife and one of his sons, and he was sentenced today to 40 more years in prison for financial crimes, including stealing millions of dollars from clients of his personal injury law firm. The 40 years is almost double what prosecutors recommended, but the judge seemed angry, saying Murdaugh hurt the most needy, vulnerable people who sought him out for help. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, No lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
What an absolute mess. Hey, it's Dan Mandison. Look at my closets. Unorganized to say the least. Even my window dormer is a train wreck. Stuff is everywhere. Now, luckily, California Closets is coming to my rescue. My personal design consultant, Vince, stopped by, measured, and is now showing me how to become more space efficient and organized on his 3D CAD system. It is amazing. And soon, my space is going to be organized, and yes, even Bandit approves. California Closets, a local company that can customize the storage in any room of your house. California Closets, what can they do for you? Find them online at californiaclosets.com and reach out for your free in-home consultation. Hey, it's Dan Mandison. I love My Patriot Supply. It's emergency food so you can care for your family no matter what. And today, we're fixing creamy chicken flavored rice. And the thing I love about My Patriot Supply, it's easy. You just get the water, turn on the heat, and in minutes, we are ready to go. Now, this food lasts for 25 years in special packaging, and yes, it does taste great. And in just minutes, it's ready to eat. Patriots don't rely on the government to take care of their family in emergencies. It's up to you. Order right now and get $200 off a 3-month food kit. It's important to go to preparewithmandis.com to get that great discount. That's preparewithmandis.com to get that great discount. Preparewithmandis.com. $200 off a 3-month food kit.
The pharmaceutical industry is at it again. They don't want you to vote yes on Proposition 208 and legalize medical cocaine. For millions of Americans, it's the medicine that helps them get through the day. A God-given plant strained through gasoline in the jungle by a man with missing teeth. Vote yes on Proposition 208 and legalize medical cocaine.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Mac, are you just sitting on the members nutrition text line talking to people about how the Vols got cheated?
Maybe John and Lawrenceburg and I are doing that.
I'm like, I see this text come through. It's like, Mac, back me up. And then I see like 4 texts from Mac being like, this was the worst officiating. Why didn't you say that on the air?
Yeah, well, I wanted to be. Yeah, it was terrible officiating, but I knew I was prepared. There's this guy named Zach Eady for Purdue who they just don't know how to officiate. He has been fouled out. He's played now 3 years. He's fouled out in his first year. He's never fouled out of a game ever. He only had 1 foul last night, the whole game. He's 7'4", and he just uses his body like no one else is allowed to use their body.
John in Lawrenceburg said he elbowed a guy in the throat.
Yep. Boxed at a guy in the throat, and then we got called for the foul 2 seconds later. It's just, he's allowed to do anything. He shot 23 free throws, I believe it was yesterday.
So you're not bitter about this at all?
No, it's all good. Yeah, it's fine. Most boring star I've ever seen play basketball. Not even close.
Did you ever watch Tim Duncan play?
Whoa! Okay. I can't get into this. It's gonna get too deep.
He was boring.
He was boring, but he was fun. He was still fun. I don't know.
No, he wasn't fun.
I thought he was very fun.
You thought those Spurs teams were fun?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
No.
Great passing.
Wendy on the members nutrition text line said the NCAA is corrupt and rigged. 100 rigged.
No.
Well, we know that the women's tournament is.
That's crazy, man.
5 games with a botched 3-point line.
What the heck?
What are you doing?
Yeah, that's terrible. No, we had a texter text in. USC and UConn is playing on that court tonight. So I assume I'm sure they have it fixed now.
How do you ruin that?
Nah, it's crazy. Yeah, there would be outrage if that was in the men's game, and that just shows that the women's game is still behind as far as this is concerned. They've got to fix those things. That's crazy.
I don't know. Whatever. Is it that big of a deal?
Yes. Oh man, that's nuts,
dude. You want to hear something else nuts?
Yes, please.
So listen to this headline and tell me what you think. 9 Brits apprehended illegally crossing Canadian border into Vermont.
Say again? 9
Brits apprehended illegally crossing Canadian border into Vermont.
Wow.
I don't have any pictures of the guys. But do you picture like Nigel and, Prince Harry looking guys sneaking across with tea and crumpets? Or what do you think? Because I have this story here. It says Swanton Sector Border Patrol agents apprehended a group of 9 illegal aliens from the United Kingdom after they illegally crossed the Canadian border into Vermont. Agents arrested the migrants after they crashed through a landowner's gate in an attempt to enter the U.S. without being discovered. Crashing through a gate is probably not the best move, to not get discovered. But the Swanton Sector Chief Patrol Agent, Robert Garcia, posted a report on social media showing that his agents arrested 9 UK nationals who illegally crossed the Canadian border near Highgate, Vermont last week. The agents intercepted a Nissan SUV with the human smuggling cargo after it crashed through a landowner's gate in an attempt to move into the U.S. interior without detection. I just feel like the language in this article is very confusing. UK nationals, 9 Brits. I can't picture actual British citizens trying to sneak in. Are these guys terror related? Are they on a terror watch list? It's confusing to me, and there's no pictures of the people that were arrested. They say the arrest of 9 British nationals illegally entering the U.S. via the Canadian border adds to the record-shattering pace of migrant apprehensions in the Swanton sector this fiscal year. During fiscal year 23, which ended at the end of September 23, Swanton sector agents apprehended more migrants than during the previous 12 years combined. Let me repeat that. During fiscal year 23, they apprehended more illegal aliens in this sector of the border with Canada in Vermont than the previous 12 years combined. Unbelievable. And they're saying by the end of March, which was yesterday, the year-to-date migrant apprehensions in the Canadian border sector could hit the 5,000 mark. They're saying it's a flood like we've never seen. It's an exponential shift, something we were not expecting, and it just hit us hard. Breacher Falls Station Patrol Agent in charge, Eric LaValle, told WBZ Boston. In more than 2 decades of service to the Border Patrol, LaValle said he has never experienced the type of migrant surge on the northern border. And he's quoted as saying, Border Patrol said they've arrested individuals from 66 different countries, including India, Bangladesh, Haiti, and Venezuela on the northern Canadian border. Insanity. Insanity. This stuff just keeps happening. I have a friend that does reporting in the Pacific Northwest, and he tells me that the border is so wide open in the north, like you can just walk across. He has a story coming out. I'm not going to give his name or steal the thunder from his story, but when that story comes out, we're going to have him on because what's happening on the northern border is almost even scarier than what's happening on the southern border because of how easy it is to slip through without being detected. And it's happening day in and day out on our northern border with Canada. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Also, in the news, the Biden egg hunt has been happening. And did you hear what Joe Biden said at the egg hunt? Did you hear what he said?
I did not.
Okay, well, let's play that for everybody.
And I'm coming down to do that Easter egg roll in just a minute. Thank you all so very, very much. Thanks, everybody. And by the way, say hello to oyster bunnies. Come on up, bunnies. Get up here so they can see you.
What kind of bunnies? Is he refusing to even say Easter now? Did you hear him?
Thank you all so very, very much. Thanks, everybody. And by the way, say hello to oyster bunnies. Come on up, bunnies. Get up here so they can see you.
The oyster bunnies.
It's a new one.
What kid doesn't have fond memories of getting his picture taken with the oyster bunny?
Come on, get in there. Pretty big bunny, huh?
Pretty big bunny, huh?
All right. Thank you all so very, very much. It's all yours. President Zone.
Biden looked rough. He looked rough. He was out there. He sniffed a baby. There's video of him sniffing a baby. And looking very confused. And as he was walking out, I mean, he looked lost, dude. I honestly feel bad for him. My wife would never let me go to work if I was that confused all the time. She would say, you should just stay home.
Yeah, you should be done.
Yeah, don't worry. The oyster bunny will pay us a visit here. That's what she would say. I can't believe that. He's wearing a tie. He's got this tie. He's got Easter eggs all over it. Oyster eggs for the Biden administration. He looks silly. Looks silly. Sounds silly. This is the guy in charge of our country. He was also on the Today Show, and he had this to say about the economy.
When people are saying, but Mr. President, I'm feeling, my buck isn't going as far. What do you say to those folks about the economy and what's going on?
Well, I say we have the best economy in the world. We got to make it better. We really do have the best economy in the world. Jobs are up more than they've ever been. We're in a situation where the lowest unemployment rate in 50 years is maintained. We have people look, I think we're going to find out that what happened is a consequence of the crisis we had in health is going to have a lasting effect. And we just got to get people to move again. But we're ready. I mean, I think the country's ready to come together in a way that I mean that sincerely. I'm truly optimistic.
He's truly optimistic. The country's going to come together as he always blasts half the country and, basically smears one of the biggest religions in the country by, the biggest religion in the country by declaring yesterday Trans Visibility Day and not letting any of the kids have any religious symbols on the Easter eggs. And he was really slurring his words on the Today Show.
What is so special about this egg roll?
Well, what's so special is this is the people's house. And we expect over 40,000 people to be here. It's the largest ever. And we just like to open it up the place and let people see this is their place.
Yeah, this is the place. We're just opening it up. And he was asked, what's his message to the American people?
What's your message to people about why they've got to engage and get out there to vote?
Well, I think people are going to surprise people again. They're going to engage. An overwhelming response when we're out on the road. Look, we have tens of thousands of people contributing $5-10 a pop. We've opened up 100 headquarters. We have people waiting to just get engaged. I mean, I just think people are so tired of the negativity that is propagated that they just want to get engaged.
Yep. People are so tired of the negativity. It definitely doesn't come from the left, though, right? That's not where the negativity is from. Walker in Fayetteville, you're next on Super Talk. What's going on, Walker?
Lord have mercy. Happy oyster.
Hey, happy oyster. Did you have a good oyster day?
Yeah. I celebrated Christ. I don't know what he's celebrating. But anyway, nothing he said on that speech just a minute ago, 50 years, unemployment, blah, 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 the best. Total lies.
Oh.
And you've mentioned it before, but it's been a while, but I like to see it brought up again. You know where his honeymoon was? Hungary. You know what? That's next to Ukraine and Russia. And he's talking about Donald Trump? Really?
It's hard not to just get angry. And it's like, at least he doesn't know he doesn't know what he's saying. Somebody's writing it down for him.
And I'll hang up and get your opinions on it.
Hey, I appreciate your call, Walker. I'm right in line with you, man. It's 11:48 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Bored but bossy? Desperate for power and upset nobody will listen to you? Keen to patronize? Try a career in human resources. Your job is to fire people or make them feel bad for telling funny jokes. Take the joy and pleasure out of the workplace. Work is called work for a reason. It shouldn't be fun. You'll have more power than management. Make people fill out long questionnaires about their feelings so you can sell the data or blackmail them at a later point. Get paid to snoop on employee email. Train for 3 evenings and you'll be qualified to begin an exciting career as a human resources professional. Contact Ovine Human Resources Academy today.
Anal cleansing. Anal cleansing dates back to the Egyptians. Coffee enemas have been all the rage for a few years now. But at Rectify Holistic, we say, why stop at coffee? We have detoxifying all-natural enemas for every occasion. Get that minty fresh taste with a peppermint enema, or be hydrated from behind with a coconut water enema. Acquire all the charm, hygiene, and je ne sais quoi of a Frenchman with a garlic enema. We've also got relaxing and inspiring flavors like Irish coffee, fruit juice, hamburger meat, or spicy ground turkey. Become nature's softy serve machine with an ice cream enema, or get ravaged by a burly Russian with the St. Petersburg surprise. Rectify Holistic. Come and get properly clean today.
11:57 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, joined in studio by Matt Murphy. What's going on, Murph?
Hello, Chris.
Did you have a good oyster day?
I did. I did have a good oyster day.
We missed you, man.
Missed you as well. My wife is mad at me.
Why?
Because apparently I thought that I had done what I was supposed to do to connect you two. I was out of town. The wife was in town. She came. She was there Saturday night somewhere amongst the
massive
the
crowd.
melee, but I apparently did not make some sort of telephone connection that I was supposed to make. So I just wanted to officially apologize to the Hand family, apologize to my wife, apologize to everyone else involved, all of your people and all of your people's people.
All right.
My apologies. But she said it was a wonderful service.
It was great. He's a beast, Alan Jackson at World Outreach Church. So, I mean, for a guy to pivot and be able to bring up all the news of the day, in his one of his
Your
biggest,
boss is a thief.
One of his biggest services of the year. It's huge.
No, that's no question, no question. But it was a good oyster day. Good eats and good celebration, and now off we go.
I know. The news doesn't stop.
I'm a little distracted. I was writing a telephone number down. I heard an ad earlier that I was interested in checking out. So I wrote that down. What's going on with you?
Not much, man. I'm excited to be back in here.
I'm a little trepidatious about bringing this up, but I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm not cutting my hair until you sounded.
I was a little bit upset.
You sounded hurt.
I felt left out because
you're welcome.
I brought this idea up to you, I feel like 2 weeks ago. I feel like you just jacked my idea about the playoff beards for the election.
I don't remember them being for the election, but maybe I was half listening. I don't know. But we can do that. If you want to do that, I can do that.
It's a ruin.
I mean, we're not going to approach Ken Weaver.
No.
And his beard efficacy. I don't think Mandis would last 2 weeks. You clear. I remember why. Because look at your beard. Look at this. Look at that. Look at this. Look at that. Look at this. Look at that. Look at this. It's too good.
It's a good beard.
Your beard is too good.
All right,
for me to participate.
So you're letting the hair grow.
That's what I'm telling people. Let's see how honest I am come July. I don't know. Governor Bill Lee's coming on today.
All right, you excited about that?
He's not coming in studio, but he's coming on the phone, which I'm a little disappointed about, but I'll talk about it at noon.
All right, perfect. Hang out with us. Murphy's in next. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.